Hello and welcome to the Empyrion Galactic Survival Ground Vehicle tutorial. In this video I will show you how to create and build a ground-based vehicle. I'll go into a little bit of detail about the advantages of using one and basically looking at the resources that you're going to need to churn one out for yourself. So let's cut over here and we'll go and get started. Okay, so having seen that we want to make a ground-based vehicle, let's see first of all about all the different items that we're going to need to go ahead and create one. Right, now immediately it is worth noticing that right now when you spawn your ground-based vehicle from your escape menu, you automatically get given, and this is pre-alpha, I will remind you, you will automatically be given a cockpit and a core, but at some point these features will be removed and you will need to source your own cockpit and core in order to create your ground-based vehicle. Okay, now the other items that we're going to need, and I'll go through these at a regular pace. You've got your pause button if you need it, so let's see what we need. We're going to need a hover engine, and again you'll notice the GV indicating ground vehicle. The components that you're going to need are all going to be GV or SV, because some items on a small vehicle will work on a ground vehicle. Okay, so hover engine. Next we'll need an RCS unit, again GV. We'll also need a generator which is compatible both with GV and SV. We'll also need a fuel tank, and those are the main four components that we're going to be needing right now. The only other additions that are essential are going to be your engines, and you're going to need a minimum of 3 directional thrusters and 1 normal thruster. You can use a combination if you want, but this is the configuration that I prefer, but again you can mix and match depending on the kind of performance that you're looking for. Now you can with the ground vehicle add additional items, but again we'll cover those as we've going through. So let's whiz outside, give ourselves a nice little bit of room, and we're nice and daylighty, so we're going to be able to see what we're doing. Right, so let's go creating our ground-based vehicle. So we're going to press escape to bring up our menu, and we're going to hover along to create ground vehicle. Click on that once with your left mouse button, press escape again, and as you can see you've got your cockpit and your core already there, but again they will not be there forever, so make use of them while you can. Really it is just now a question of attaching all of these various components onto the ground-based vehicle. So without further ado, I'm going to start placing a few blocks. Now it's worth noting that I've done this a few times, so I'm literally just sort of placing a configuration that works, but I've done these in order. So let's first of all place our hover engine, which we've now got, and then we're also going to look at placing our RCS module, and then we want to place our power generator. We can align that. It is worth noting that you can pretty much place these in any sort of configuration that you want. It is entirely up to you. I am just doing this just for speed, really, more than anything else. Okay, so the next vital component are your fuel tanks. I say tanks, I've put 1 on there, but you can put 1, 2, 3, however many you'd like. It's entirely up to you. Likewise, if you want additional power or even backup power, you can have additional units. There's no reason you can't have more than 1, but obviously they'll take additional resources. Okay then, so now we have our basic components: cockpit, core, RCS, generator, fuel tank. The next thing that we're going to need to do is add your thrusters. Now it is worth noting that your thrusters are only going to take you along 2 dimensions. Now when I say 2 dimensions, a spacecraft will fly up and down and all around and forward and backwards and so on. The hover vehicle is merely designed to hover along the planet's surface. So now we've established a two-dimensional flight path, let's go ahead and pop on some directional thrusters. Now on your construction tutorials, especially the advanced ones, they will sort of go into more detail about how to rotate your blocks, but basically you're looking at rotating your blocks, and the configuration that we're looking for, we want one going left, we want one going right, we also want one facing forward to push us backwards, and then we want one backwards pushing us forwards. Now I tend to favour a regular thruster to push us forward, simply because we have that extra burst of speed. Okay, and that is essentially your ground-based vehicle. It doesn't look very pretty, but I think you'll find that once we pop some fuel packs into the fuel tank, that we now have one fully functional, pressing Y to power up, hover, ground, vehicle, call it whatever you will, and there we go. We go backwards, we're going forwards, and we're going right, and we're going left. Now I find that the ground vehicle is sorely underestimated. It has many advantages over the small vehicle. Yes, it can't fly around and so on, but it does use a whole hell of a lot less power. So if Prometheum ore and indeed power in general is at a premium, you'll find that the hover vehicle is absolutely beautiful for zipping around the planet's surface. It's got a lovely little feature. Press space and it will give you a little boost up in the air, which is fantastic for jumping over obstacles. Could be anything from ravines, getting away from enemies and so on. It does have a recharge time, so you can't just keep spamming the space bar and hoping that you're going to jump up. Currently I think it's about 15 seconds, 10 seconds. I don't actually know, I need to look into that. But again, you can boost and jump yourself up and out the way. Absolutely beautiful. It's worth noting at the moment, this is pre-alpha 102. We do not yet have any kind of landing gear for the hover vehicle, so when you power it down, it's going to go down with a bit of a clunk. So there we go, there's our very basic ground-based vehicle. Now you can go ahead, if you like, and place some additional GV or SV components and turn this little hover vehicle into a little mobile factory. Again, be mindful, the small constructor will only construct certain items. If you want the whole range, you have to use our large constructor that we use on our base. Okay, but nevertheless it still comes in very handy for processing ore into ingots and so on. It might save you a little bit of time when you're returning to your base, but again, just as it is in the escape pod when you start out, you got a basic few building options there. Okay, and again, likewise, you can add additional cargo capacity, and you can also go ahead and add an oxygen station here. And then you just orient it any way you like. Again, we don't have to worry too much about symmetry. It's not going to throw things off too much, but it does go without saying you might sort of need to mess around a little bit with your configuration to get it set up just the way you want. Again, if you're going to be using your oxygen tanks, make sure that you got your bottles to pop in there. And again, in common with the small vehicle, when you enter the cockpit, the oxygen that you use will come from your tanks here and not from your own internal suit. So again, this is a great way of extending your field trip, shall we say. With your oxygen station here, with the ship powered up, this might be a bit tricky to demonstrate here, unfortunately, because it kind of hovers the right way up there. So if I have a little jump up here, once you okay, as you can see, I might need to redesign this a little bit, but if you can get yourself stood up near to your oxygen station, you can also refill your internal oxygen tank from the oxygen station there. Now, it is worth noting that there currently is only one weapon that you can mount on your ground-based vehicle, and that weapon is the Gatling gun, which is still a whole lot better than nothing at all. Again, you go ahead and you can pop it anywhere you like. Again, for the purposes of the video, I'm just going to pop it straight on top there. So again, we enter the vehicle, power it up. We've already got our Gatling gun selected, and away we go. Kind of good fun if you're going hunting dinosaurs, all of the aliens and what have you. This is a great hit and run, pretty effective, and kind of keeps you safe while you're taking pot shots and what have you at the enemy. The more blocks that you place on your ground-based vehicle, the slower and less responsive it will get, because obviously you're trying to shift around more weight. But beyond that, you can always add additional engines, add additional RCS modules, just to sort of regain that nimbleness, if you like. But anyway, regardless of however your vehicle looks, she is now fully functional, and that is pretty much how we put together our ground-based vehicle. Thanks for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial video. All the best. Bye bye now.